I'm Sudhanshu Vats. I look after Viacom18 in India.
2-3 ways in which content is changing in India, content consumption.
Yeah, the content consumption is changing quite rapidly in India. I think the first piece which is happening is this: basically newer screens are coming in. So therefore, it's no longer about television screen. It's also about the smaller screens, and mobile is becoming therefore very important. That's the first thing. The second thing which is happening definitely in parts of urban India is time shifting viewing. So therefore, both with very limited DVR sets which we have, but definitely again because of this other screen phenomena, time shifting viewing is becoming important. And lastly, I think with the number of screens coming in, content consumption in India for the first time is going to become more and more individual. It used to be otherwise, everything, it was a very community thing. I think it's going to move from a community or a group to an individual phenomena.
Is that good news or bad news for companies like yours?
It is great news because there are more screens on which I can sort of put my content across. It's great news because we can do sharper segmentation. There is room for more content to go, and fortunately the ecosystem is keeping pace in the way the content can be taken forward. So therefore pipes are becoming bigger, whether these are your fiber optic pipes or your the networks and spectrum. Unfortunately, the devices are coming in, the quality of devices and the quality of devices is going up, the cost of devices is coming down, they're becoming more and more affordable. So there will be that much more video consumption, and that's fantastic news.
2 ways in which you're competing with the likes of Netflix now because they're in India.
So yeah, it's actually a great opportunity that they've come in, and I welcome them. I welcome them from a specific point that I love the price point they came in at. So they've sort of come in at about 650 rupees, $10, almost the US pricing. That pricing then sets a benchmark and therefore leaves headroom for all the players to play in the digital environment. So I think that's really good news. Competition is always good, but I must say India is a very, very peculiar and different country, and some of us who've spent time in India and already producing content know how to do and what to do. So I think it'll be interesting, it'll be good to have all
the Indian viewer is also used to free content.
Yeah.
And how does do you think that change in mindset will happen because it's necessary for many OTT players?
You're absolutely right. I think so that's why our app, if you look at it, to begin with, is an AVOD app, so it is a free app. And it's a free service in that context. But I think in India, subscription models will come in. But in India, again, subscription models have to be brought in with some nuances which are for India. So I think the pricing, they perhaps will need to be a little bit more freemium models, not necessarily all the way there. I think India, I'm also a very strong believer in small currency transactions and transactional VOD in India. I think we are not basically capturing all of India as much as we would like to. And from my FMCG experience, let me tell you, most big categories in FMCG, 50% of the category is in bottles or big packs, 50% of the category is in sachets. And in media, we haven't explored the sachets. So we haven't explored 50% of India. So that is fantastic.
You like the price point of Netflix. That may, but that's premium content, so it may or may not necessarily work for the Indian masses.
Yeah.
What seems like a good price point for mass products like what Viacom18 perhaps would have?
Yeah. So see, it depends. I think we could have kids content behind a payment gate. We could have some premium content behind payment gate, exclusives, originals. We could have some international content behind payment gate. And I think the pricing will differ for each of the content which we bring in. Maybe we could have films behind payment gate. But the pricing will have to be more, as I told you, not necessarily dollar pricing. That's why I'm saying what I liked is that they've set it there. So therefore there is headroom for you to therefore play, and expectations have been set right. And that's what I liked. But I think the pricing will have to be much, much more reasonable in my assessment. They will vary, and therefore depending on what you do, and that's how we need to sort of work.
Okay, this year Ficci Frame's theme is change or perish. What do you think will perish?
I think what will perish is middling. There is no room for any mediocrity, and there is no room for middling. Digital world is a world where basically you've got to either win or you lose. It is a transparent world. There is no room, I again repeat, for mediocrity and middling. And I think that's what will perish. Arbitrage will perish. So there is no room for arbitrage. There will be things which are direct, transparent, objective. If content has to win, it has to be high quality content. I think that's where it is.
From the viewer experience point of view, 2 things that will most definitely change in the coming year.
So the number of people watching video on smaller screen will exponentially grow. So it's a phenomenon which has been there, but it exponentially grow, because I think smartphones will double in this year. So we entered the year at about 160 million smartphones. We might end up selling another 160 million smartphones in 2016 itself. So the number could go up to 320 million. So that is one key thing which will definitely change as we go forward. And the second thing which will change is from the viewer perspective, the viewer will therefore start watching things on. So therefore, this entire 4G experience which will come in, and the fiber optic, I think there will be more on-demand kind of services which will come in, and I think that's the other piece.
So you're saying accessibility also will change.
Yes. Yeah, I will want to watch what I want at my time. I think that's the second thing.